Building or doing projects, it can turn out to be something challenging. You have to go back and go back to a plan. We talk about let's build wealth. Let's build how to get wealth, how to let wealth create in your life that will keep you constantly, making that return off of that dollar. God has blessed us in a way you're able to do this now. And I'm telling you, to be on this side is awesome, great. To be able to walk in your own projects, one that you purchased, one that is all yours. Show you some air. Good day. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on and turning on that great TV at this hour and at this time. This is your, you know who. It is Wayne Foster and Let's Build Wealth. We just gave you an introduction about how to build wealth in this day and time. How to build wealth in 2022. I'm here to let you know how can we build wealth. And we're going to talk on the next subjects of talking about owning something. Owning a piece of property. Owning it with your name on it, and you own that to bring your wealth in. So I'm gonna give you today of how it's important. You must own something. You must take the cart or take the steering wheel and control that process till the finish. And the process you must jump into is owning that process, owning that business, owning that home, owning that company. So for you to make any noise, you got to own something. You can talk a whole lot of noise, but if you don't own nothing, nobody's going to listen to you. I promise you, today I want to get into side of your heads. I want to get where you at. I want to sit you down and let's talk about how to own something so we can have rights. So you can be in a better place that you ever could be when you own something. When somebody else owns something, they have the ability to say what they want to say about what is yours. But when you understand, if you own that property or you own that business or you own that company, no one can tell you what to say or do. You can say what you want. Then you can bring it in a way that they got to listen to you. Why? Because you own that. And if you don't take the process of what you want in this day and time and let somebody else tell you what to do, then you don't want to own it. But if you want to own it, then let's go. Let's go. Let's get into it. Talk about owning. What's the ability of owning? What's mine? What's the ability for me to do so I can control my outcome of what I'm going through or what I'm doing? When you understand that there's no one can come in your project or in your home or in your business or your company and tell you what to do if you own it. I want you to get it in your mind today. I want to own my company. I want to own my business. I want to own my own house. I want to own what's mine to give to someone else. When you own it, you can give to somebody. When you don't own it, then you give someone else the opportunity to make it in life. So let's dig into this, because I want you to say today, I want to own this company. I want to own this business. I want to own this team. You know what I mean? I want to own anything that we ever can do in this life and time that we live in is to own it. It's to really own it. Don't do anything in life until you own it. When you own it, then you got the one to make the decision that no one can change. I don't care how much they come in. When things are set in place and they have done it the right way, and you really own it on that piece of paper, they can't come now and take it from it, because then you show them the company, what is it, your deed, whatever. It shows that you are the full right of that piece of paper or that right of that property. Then that means you have the right to say. No one can come in and change that because you own it.
Okay, you saying, well, I released this property off somebody, or I released, I borrowed their car, or I used this. That means you don't own it because you got to give it back. Okay, let's take it real quickly. I'm gonna show you something. I want you to understand how powerful this is in owning. I'm your friend. I'm your partner. I'm your friend. I'm your whatever you want to call me, your coach, your mentor, whatever you want to call me today. I'm that person today to tell you that you need to do what? Own that. You need to take the full responsibility of owning what's yours. Let's go. And I'm gonna talk what we talk about in real estate. I'm mostly talking about let's build wealth. Building wealth is owning that. Understand if I own this, hear what I'm saying. I hope this get into your mind and your heart. When you own this, no one can take it from you. I know what you're saying. You own this and they still got rights over it. But you mostly have the bigger thing that you can talk about and say because you own it. I don't care if the neighbor come on your property and they say they want to remove some trees. They really can't do it because you got to be the one to get them permission to cut them trees down on your property because you do what? You own it. So let's talk about this. Renting from somebody don't give you the right to do what you really want to do. You can't. There are some rules that set in renting property from a landlord. You become a tenant. That means you got to pay that landlord a portion of whatever y'all agreed on. And you might agree, and we'll keep these numbers simple. You tell him, he tells you, you got a 3-bedroom, 2 full bath. He's gonna charge you 1,200 square foot. He's gonna charge you $1,000 a month. Okay, you pay him for that property $1,100 a month. And remember, you don't own it. You're renting it or you're leasing it. The one that has the more power to it is the one that owns it. The one that rent it or lease it only have it for a a a time and for a while. So however you look at it, you're only paying for the time that you stay in it. So let's do rent first then. Rent, you sign a lease for 30 days. Every 30 days, you have to pay him $1,000. And every 30 days, he's looking for that $1,000. So typically when you're renting something and you rent it for a long term, they like for you to be at least there for 5 years. Not a year because they don't make none. So you'll get that lease agreement that we talk about. You'll lease that place for him a year, or 5 years. Let's do the numbers real quickly. So you lease this property from this landlord, and on the lease it has your name. Sometimes it has the property. It has which agreements that y'all did. No smoking. No pictures hung on the wall. You know what I mean? You only can have who's on the lease. If that's 4 or 5 people, that's what you on the contract for. And so, listen. So then you have to abide by his rules. So, normally he cannot kick you out of that because you're paying your rent on time. You're doing what he said. But sometimes when you don't own it, they can come up with the craziest things, and you have to move. Then all the money that you have put into that place, you're going to have to get out. We're talking about owning something, having a right of something. And then you have a right and you own that piece of that property, then you can do what I'm telling you today, is that you can speak and speak to a place or a thing that will cause you to keep what you own. So now you're in a situation that you got to pay this individual $1,000 every month. And y'all agreed to do this for the 5 years. So in that whole month, understand this. You done gave him 12, listen, $12,000 in 1 month. You done gave him. Now let's look at these numbers, because you know me, I am a numbers man. I love numbers. Numbers do not mess up. Only numbers mess up if you put the wrong decimal point, or you put the wrong adding point, or you put them in the wrong place. Then that number mess up. But when you figure out it in the way it should be, and you crunch these numbers like I love to do, because when you crunch the numbers and you see that big profit that you're gonna make, then you can say numbers make sense. And I've learned how to put numbers together. Every day I deal with numbers. Every day when I'm buying properties, or I'm remodeling my properties, or I'm doing a project for somebody else, it's gonna come at the end of the day. We're gonna deal with what? Numbers. We're gonna deal on the point of how we're gonna make these numbers work. And so you here listen to me today on this great Tuesday is asking me, how do we make these numbers work? How do we put these numbers together? How do these numbers can stay affected in the time that we in? It's beautiful when you learn how to use the numbers right. So let's talk about this. So you give him $1,000 a month. We figure that's 12,000. And a year, you don't gave him over $24,000. Wow, that is a lot of money. And you only been in there how many years? 12. You only been there 2 years. And you done gave him about $20,000. How amazing that who's getting the benefit is not you. Who's getting the benefit? The person owning it. I heard you. Yes, the person that owns it have the benefit from it. And you do not get the benefit from it because you don't what? You don't own it. So you done gave him or her, 24,000. If we do it another 4 more years, and you have placed this in his, you have given it to him faithfully. I mean, I'm telling y'all today, if you can get this in your mind, your heart, and you say, wow, I'm giving good money away to where I could be one day owning this, and I don't have to pay out this $12,000. When you own something and you pay it outright, the price get even better than that. And that can be another time we can talk about that. It's, when you own something, what you pay, you pay the taxes and insurance. And when you pay the tax and insurance, it's no near to what you're paying in rent, living with somebody. So it's important to understand the very big thing to understand is you own it, then you have what you then take that money. So you think about it, you give him over $20,000 for 2 years. Then you come back and you give him another 4 years. And now you done gave this individual $48,000 is what you gave him, or close to it. I'm trying to do this in my head and talk at the same time. When you really do this, you add about, if we gave him 20,000 and we gave him 12,000 in 1 year, another year will bring us 24,000. That's right. And then you get another year, that will be 48,000. Now you see it. 48,000. Understand this. Now you just did that in 4 years. You come again, and you almost gave him in a year. 5 years, it's close to almost $60-some thousand. Wow, that is a lot of money in 5 years. So here we go. And if I own that property, and I was paying a mortgage on that property, paying that same loan payment to my bank or to my mortgage company, and I had 5 years to pay off that home. Look at this as by owning it. So you pay those payments. You pay them every year. But here is the big part, that when you own it. Now, if you just renting it or leasing it, it can happen both ways, because you're leasing and renting about the same. Different rules that applies. But it's understand the point. The point is you don't own it. But if you own it, then you can have uh, more rights and more things you could say as the owner of that property. So the person that you're leasing this from or renting from, you don't give them $60,000 within 5 years. $60,000, you're saying, well, that's nothing. I had to pay it anyway wherever I'm staying. But where did that $60,000 go to? Who gets the $65,000? The owner, right? Because he owns it. You don't own it, so you give him $60,000. What he do with that is pay off the mortgage. Then now he has a free and clear property with no mortgage on it. Watch this. Then whatever he started, if it was 60,000, I guarantee it's worth over 120,000 or 200,000. It's always you don't pay, you don't put a new bathroom in it, you don't upgrade the kitchen, you put new things in it, make the house become beautiful for you and your family, and you get down to the last ending of giving this man the last payment of $1,000. You find out I spend $60,000. What you gonna have to do? Sign another release for 5 years? Here we go. Then if you do that in 10 years, you're giving him over $120,000. Wow! You done bought 2 houses. I hope you understand how powerful it is to be own that. It's the same thing if you own a business. Let's take it on spot. Owning your own company, owning your own business. All right, the person that owns that. I was just sharing this with somebody on yesterday. The person that owns it, you own a restaurant, you own a car lot, you own a construction company like I do, you own a store, a restaurant. Understand how you keep making money over money. When you own it, the person that working for you, whether they work for you full-time, part-time, or they work for you a couple hours, however it is, the owner is really making a benefit from it, not the employee. And sometimes we get stuck out here. And some people saying, well, I don't want to own it. I don't want to own the business. I don't want to go to the house. So I don't want to deal with people. I don't want the noise. I just want to get what I get a week and move on in life. Okay, I know some people like that today. I know some people go back to renting. They don't want to own because they don't want to take care of the grass. They don't want to take care of upkeep of the house. There's a numerous reasons why people don't want to own things. It's sad to say, I don't know why. I've been 30 years plus owning my own company. I can count on my hand how many people I work for. I mostly own my business, own my own houses. I've be truthful to you, I'm gonna be honest. I rented from people. I put a lot of money in people's projects, homes, or I don't help somebody pay off from some houses. I did. So I'm just giving you wisdom today. Don't become a renter the rest of your life. Own something so that way you can give something to your kids. We want to give the kids the debt. If you rent and you pass, guess what he's gonna do? He's gonna find another tenant. Your daughters or your kids might need somewhere to stay at after you pass. A lot of time the landlord don't want to give it to the relatives because they use as a parent. So after the parents die, they kicking up the next one that's living there. So you're putting your family in jeopardy if you just might die tomorrow, and you've been renting from this person, excuse me, for these many years. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to help you to really think today. I gotta get to the point of owning something. Be excited about when you own something. You know what I mean? You can get a site. I own houses. I own my own business. You know what I mean? I own my own churches. You know what I mean? I own something. I have things. I own my cars. You know what I mean? I have something I'm paying, payments on them. But I have 2 vehicles out there that are paid for. You know what I mean? Got 2 more, 3 more we got that we got little payments on them. But, eventually I will own them. They will be mine. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking to pay at least a car, after I lease it, I'm going to lease it again because that's like, I don't want the maintenance. You know what I mean? I don't want to spend money to keep this car up. And after I buy it, no goods. I'm going to go, here it goes again. So many people have so many reasons why they don't want to own. I'm giving you the benefit of the day is to own it, then you have more rights to it. You know what I mean? You have less headaches. Because you go back to if you renting and you're giving this person this money, you saying, well, I ain't got to take care of the grass. If something break, I call my landlord and he take care of it and I'm done with it. I ain't had to, I mean, see, your mind is all in the wrong places when you think about owning something. If you don't want to own it and you want, put it this way, if you don't want to own it because you don't want to deal with it, do this. Buy your duplex. You buy your duplex, then you let somebody else pay your rent and you live free. If that you don't want to pay rent, you know what I mean? You don't want to pay upkeep. Pay out of that part to somebody manage your property for you, and you don't have to worry about taking care of the upkeeps. That means the person that you let to manage that property take care of all the headaches for you. You just live, get your money. You know what I mean? And once a month, your check coming in. That's the way you want to live when you own something. I'm just trying to keep it real with you. That some people make the wrong excuses and look at the wrong things, and understanding that if you own something, you have more rights to it. You have more say to it. You know what I mean? If you don't own it, you got to get back to the person that own it, whether you like it or not. And I don't care how much you say he never come by and fix up this, or she never come by and take care of this, but yet they want to get my money every month. Guess what? You don't own it. So what you're saying now, he don't care. He knows you don't pay him. He can evict you and find the crazy reason why they can evict you. You might have the greatest history of paying him and doing everything he say do. But because he own it, he has a right. Him or her can move you out that place anytime they want to, even if you have a lease. I'm telling you, I've seen people have leases, have a great relationship. When the thing chip fell down, they had to get up out of his place because he owned it. I want you to understand when you own something, they cannot come and just take it when you own it. You know what I mean? You got to understand the principle of this one I'm giving you today. And I've learned this, that I want to keep talking about this until I get you to the place that you own it, and you own it to a way that you can benefit from it after you own it. Don't just sit on it, because I just shared this with somebody else again. Every house that you look at, if you got 10 houses down on your street, all them 10 houses are, and I was sharing this with the individual, all them 10 houses down there have something in common. Every house. They all have something common. And you probably saying, well, all of them have doors and windows. All of them have a roof. That's true. But I'm going to look at the big part in that. They all have equity that goes up every year. It don't decrease, it increases. A vehicle, the day you buy it, if you bought it for $10,000, it's not worth a dime after you took off that lot. It's worth nothing. I don't care how much. It takes a while for it to become an antique, but you can get something from it. Well, that takes some time. You got to maintain and keep it up. Yeah, you can sell it to somebody else. You can buy a car cheap, and you can sell it to somebody. But it's only worth what you get it. But if you get it for it, don't worth nothing else. You can't go and, some vehicles that we have, yeah, you can borrow against it, but I'm saying it's going to be very little bit. The versus from a house standpoint, let's take it this. If you want to go there and your mind is that way, and you think about, well, okay, I'll go buy 10 cars. What is the most you can get from out of them 10 cars? You might get $10,000 profit, maybe 20, maybe 100,000. I'm just going to keep it real. But I'm going to tell you, if you buy a house and you bought it for $50,000, you typically can sell that house for $150,000. make $150,000 profit. We bought it for 50. You make $100,000 profit. Understand this: you made a profit, not went in the hole or not broke even. You made a profit. That was more than you put in it and got more out of it. I can't make it no more plain than that. I'm serious. I can't give you no more pep talk, encouragement, and decision making is to own it. Because when you own that piece, it becomes yours to do what you want to do it. Nobody can tell you what to do. If you own the company and you got some of your employees coming in and telling you what to do, basically you can do what? You fire. Because who do it? Who have the most in say? It's the person that owns it. I know what you're saying. There are a lot of things that goes with ownership. Yes, it do. But if you do it right, it will never come to a point in your life that, you got, oh, wow, I don't want to own this no more. I don't want to give this. And, oh, man, I'm glad, my thinking is happening. Those, as they say, marbles are cooking. They are turning up there in my head. And I'm going to tell you, listen, you can build a company and you own that business and, if the company's worth something, you can sell it. You can sell it for 10, 20 million. And then leave out of that company, sell it to somebody else, and guess what? You can sit back and do what you say you wanted to do. Because you was the owner of that company. The company built this clientele. Its prices are raising. His income is raising up. He's now on the chart. He's on the chart of this company is, selling $10,000 revenue a month. Then you're able to go to somebody and say, listen, give me 3,000, give me 3 million, and there's 10 million that's make. If that's just what you want to do, just get out and say, I can live off 3 million the rest of my life. That's how you gotta look at it. You can't just look at it, it's a debt asset, it's a headache asset, it's miserable asset. I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't want nowhere to be faced with that kind of position in life. Don't think that way. I'm telling you, I'm listening from experience. Listen to a person that let me be a mentor to you and tell you, own it. Own the house. Own the company. Own car. Own everything. When you own it, they can't come and get it. They can't come and take it. Own it. When you own it, you have more rights to whatever they're saying or whatever situation may come. To tell you got to leave this property, you got to close this, or you are fired. Oh my God, keep coming to us, y'all. That's why I keep coming to. I'm coming. You know, been on that company for 10, 15 years, and he come and say, well, you got to go. And you had to leave that company without no full benefit, no retirement, because you ain't put enough years in to retire, but you got to leave. And in that fact, you got to start all over again. To where because you wasn't the owner, you was an employee. And then that employee have some things that can hinder you from letting your family become profitable to have something to the rest of their life. And only when you get there is when you own it. It's don't get me wrong. In some jobs that we do get, that benefit been there because you've been there on that job for 30 years. So then you have something that you can, give back to your family. But if you ain't started out with that, you're trying to create some money, you're trying to get some, get your life ahead. I understand all that. But I'm just giving this today, and on this today's topic, and for the next couple of days on our show, is give you the benefit of owning it and why you want to own it, and not be the person that always receiving. The person that's always giving and not receiving. And so you want to be the part where you're receiving it. When you keep giving it, when and you don't work and you got no more to give, then you don't have nothing to come back to you so you can receive it. I'm saying, make it clear as I can make it to you. Own it, and you have the power of it. It's when you own it. You have the ability of it. So My time is always up when we talk good about build wealth. I hope I said something to motivate you, change where you're at, change to where you're going, and say, you know what? I need to own it. And if I own it, I have more rights to what I'm owning. So it was so good that you have given this opportunity to come where we at, tune in, you got what you need. Let's go out and start owning something. And then we can have more power over our assets. Have a nice day. See you again.